that's the time that we should be seeking that kind of help and assistance.
Okay. I know that there's never like really a right time or a wrong time rather to seek help. A lot of people like to keep things shut in, and the old saying is what goes on in this house stays in this house, and when you cover up stuff it can't heal. So at some point you have to rip the bandage off and seek the healing that you need. I have recently sought you as a therapist, but then I've also gone farther to see a psychiatrist. I wanted to do that because I'm adopted, and I found my biological family in 2010. They still call me by my birth given name, and my family that I was raised with, they call me LATONYA. So, um, telling the therapist all of this, the psychiatrist all of this, and answering her ABC questions and multiple choice questions, she told me that I have ADHD for one, and also borderline personality disorder. And I laugh because I shared that with Dee, and I also shared that with Travita, and they're both like, "Yeah, I can see that." And I never understood why they could see that until I was able to step back and look at me trying to be the person that pleases everybody, so to speak, and I can't do that, because I'm abandoning myself.
Makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. So
Makes sense.
my questions are, what would you say to somebody that has that particular diagnosis? How could you help them?
Okay, so we'd be much longer on this broadcast rarely answered that question because therapy is like peeling back an onion. So
Right.
y'all remember watching like older movies where you see the therapist and somebody come in the office and laying on their couch and the therapist would start out saying like, tell me about your mother, right?
Mhm.
Now, by the way, we don't have people laying on our couches anymore. We don't practice therapy like that anymore. That's what we call a little bit old school. But certainly, if when you see people, you do want them to be comfortable. They
Right.
feel ambivalent about laying on couches and stuff like that. So I thought I'd throw that in. But when we talk about ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, because ADD is attention deficit disorder, but when you have the H in there, that's hyperactivity disorder. So, in layman's terms, that's kind of like a person who can't really be still. They're really hyper, they can't be still. I work with 25 children in the public school system. Out of those 25, at least 23 of them have one of their diagnoses because some